Hey, there I am. So let's see. We are testing this to see if I look good. I look pretty damn good. Actually, testing it to see if it works. I think it's working. Let's see. Lindsay. Oh, look, Lindsay's in the room. Holla, girl. Is my girl. There's. I'm a terrible typer. Oh, there's Bigfoot, Littlefoot. Bigfoot, Littlefoot. Who is Bigfoot, Littlefoot? Is that a little? Is that a juvie? In Rush, Kentucky. What county is Rush, Kentucky? Rush, Kentucky. I'll look at my phone. Rush, Kentucky. Where's my map? Maps. Where's my map? Google Maps. Oh, Carter County. Okay. Yeah, Carter County's got a white Bigfoot too, don't they? Do you know Tabitha? Tabitha does research in Carter County. Two big ones in the juvie, Carter County. Yeah, one of the first reports I took was from a guy who saw multiple Bigfoots at Carter Caves. And I used to have pictures on my website of these blurry images by Carter Caves. Okay. Do you know Bigfoot, Littlefoot, that they are looking for witnesses in the what is it, in the search of red eye or the shadow of red eye? They're filming in April in Carter County, and they are looking for witnesses. And I think it's called In the Shadow of Red Eye. I'm not sure. You have to Google it. Yeah, those pictures were kind of blurry. Typical Bigfoot pictures. Let's see, we got about 4 minutes. Does the audio sound good? Anybody that's listening, give me a thumbs up. Is the audio good? I guess you guys can hear me. Sounds good. All right, thank you. This is my first live YouTube interview. So far, so good. It's pretty easy. YouTube makes it really easy to use. Scott, yeah, Scott can help. I'll give them Scott's name. Or a different Scott. There's two Scotts. Seems like this table's shaking. We don't have earthquakes in Kentucky, do we? This table's shaking. No, you can't. Scott, you can't mess it up. I'm pretty tech savvy, and this is my first YouTube live, and it was real simple. You just go to create live, put the information in, the time in, and then today, about 10 minutes ago, I went to the settings and I just said go live. It's working pretty good. We'll get started here in about 2 minutes. I thought about next time doing this at 9 o'clock at night because I forgot it stays light much later now. So people are most likely outside looking for Bigfoot. Well, actually, you can look for Bigfoot at night.
Go ahead, get started.
Yeah. We got 1 minute. My wife's telling me to get started, but hey, Roger. So we got Roger from London, Kentucky, or Loudon. It's Loudon, Kentucky. No, sorry, Loudon, Tennessee. I'm blind. I can't. Yeah. Roger's from Loudon, Tennessee. Scott, where are you from, Scott? Tennessee or Kentucky? Detroit. Wow. There's no Bigfoots in Detroit, is there? But the UP up there, I've been up in the Upper Peninsula. It's gorgeous up there. A lot of Bigfoots too. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this show on the road. And hey, David, welcome. We're about to get started, and I will stop and welcome people as they enter the room. And I'm going to talk briefly about me, and then I will open it to questions. And trust me, I could talk all night long. I'm going to try to talk for about an hour, and anybody that has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, add extra information, and I'll try to read them aloud. Let's see. So Rick is here from Crab Orchard, Kentucky. Hey, Rick. Sorry. Hey, Rick. I cannot see. I'm blind as a bat. All right. So I'll go ahead and start. I'm Charlie Raymond. I'm the founder of the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Organization. I started it over 30 years ago, almost 35 years ago. I started the group, made a website, and started getting people calling me, submitting reports from Kentucky. And I was blown away about the number of reports that would come in where people would spend 2 hours on the phone telling me their encounters and then thanking me for listening. And that just took me back. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are really moved, sometimes traumatized by their sightings. and they want somebody to listen. And I was somebody that would listen, and I believed them, and they were very grateful. So I started doing that. And now to date, I have well over 500 reports in Kentucky that I think are credible. So based on that research and, myself going in the woods a lot, looking for these creatures, I've learned a lot, but by no means am I an expert, right? I don't think anybody really is an expert, or we probably have one in captivity by now, or we would know what one is. But I do have some knowledge that I gathered from witnesses, and I could tell you what I've learned from witnesses, and maybe shed some light on some things. But if you guys want to ask questions, somebody, Bigfoot Littlefoot said, ask the question in all caps. That's a great idea. So if you have a question, type it in all caps so I could read it because I'm blind. And then I'll read your question and try to answer that, and we'll go from there. Sound good? So let's see. Who has the first question? Oh, look, there's Trip from Powell County, Winchester. I work in Winchester. I work at Thoroughbred Diesel. Got David from Mississippi in the group. What's the biggest squatch you've ever seen? So you're going to, don't laugh now, okay? You would think I would have multiple sightings, right? No. I might have seen two of them at about 100 yards crossing a creek once, and I can't say for sure they were Bigfoot. That was probably my only sighting. I've been close many, many times to these creatures, but again, you're miles back. I don't carry a gun, and it's getting late, and they start coming up, and they sometimes growl, push trees over, and I leave. And I would have a sighting if I would stay, but I'm a little bit of a chicken, to be honest. So I've never really seen one for myself. But I will tell you, in Kentucky, we have a few reports of them being at least 10 foot tall. Down in Ohio County, some arrow hunters estimated theirs at a little over 10 foot tall. I know up in Trimble County, there's one about 10 foot tall. So we do have some big ones here. Oh, Kentucky KY Boy asked, how can I join? We have a Facebook group where we set up little events. So join our Facebook group, and afterwards I'll put the link to our Facebook group if you'd like to join a hunt or expedition. Greetings, Kelly from Bartlett, Tennessee. Hi, Kelly. Boyd County, 13 foot. 13 foot in Boyd County. That's huge. You're right. A lot of them are not accurate. And the reason, I'll tell you why they're not accurate. When we go there and we interview the witnesses, it's much bigger than they think. Number one, they're usually much bigger than they think. Secondly, the weight. I cannot tell you how many times that people say, oh, it was 7-8 foot tall and weighed, maybe 300-400 pounds. Dr. Jeff Meldrum, they made a Sasquatch skeleton, an 8.5 foot tall Sasquatch skeleton. And they estimated if that 8.5 foot tall Sasquatch skeleton was alive, flesh and blood and muscle, it would weigh 1,000 pounds. So witnesses are way off. So an 8.5 foot tall adult Bigfoot is close to half a ton, 1,000 pounds, half a ton. So they're much bigger than what we think they are. Hey, Lisa. Jim, it's Jim and Melissa from Indiana. Hey, guys. Kelly. Kelly asked, do we? Yeah, Kelly, I do expeditions near the Daniel Boone National Forest. We have a motel here in Clay City, if you know where that's at, in Powell County. And I just took a group out last night on a Bigfoot hunt. So if you're interested in a hunt, just contact me through my website or Facebook, and I can set up a hunt with you or a small group. Do I get a surprising amount from Western Kentucky? MD wants to know, are there a lot of reports from Western Kentucky? Yes. So here's the deal, MD. We have more reports in Western Kentucky than we do Eastern, which doesn't make sense. You know, Eastern part of the state, there are more mountains, right? Much more rural. I think in that part of the state, people don't want to share their encounters. They're more tight-lipped. In the western part of Kentucky, people are a little bit more carefree, and they don't care if people come around their property as much, so to speak, and they talk more about their sightings. But we have sightings all over Kentucky. So Kentucky boy's asking about any places in Columbia, Kentucky. Yes. Columbia, Kentucky, there's a few reports. Now, if I'm thinking correctly, is the Green River Lake by Columbia, Kentucky? I don't know. I got to look at my map. I need a map open here. Paducah here. Hi, Pops from Paducah. You're way down there in the corner. A lot of Bigfoots down there by Paducah. Correct. There's a lot more places to hide in the east side of Kentucky. A lot more wilderness. The western part of Kentucky, you know, there's a lot more farmland and open areas. But yeah, they can hide a lot better in eastern Kentucky. Now, I forgot who said this, but it's a good point. You need two things to have a Bigfoot sighting. You need a Bigfoot and a witness. So, you know, some of these places where they can hide better, we don't have as many reports because they can hide better, obviously. Just like up in Canada, I think there's a lot of Bigfoots, but we don't have as many reports as we do down here in the States, especially Kentucky. Kentucky has a lot of reports. LBL, yeah. LBL is a hot area. Scary, too. I've been there a few times. Got some really good return tree knocks and some amazing vocals down in LBL. That's a great place to go. Land Between the Lakes, in case anybody wants to know what LBL is. Yeah. Yeah, ginseng, and people grow stuff here in certain parts of Kentucky, and they go looking for ginseng, and we have a lot of ginseng hunters, and also people looking for arrowheads have Bigfoot sightings because they're in the woods. Green River, yeah. Green River runs through Kentucky. So there's two main rivers that I've documented dozens of sightings along. One is the Green River. Practically anywhere along the Green River you go, there's great places to go squatching. Also, the Salt River, which runs from the Ohio River, goes through Bullitt County, all the way up to Taylorsville Lake. The Salt River has a ton of Bigfoot sightings. So David is asking if come across something that we could hear but could not see. Yeah, we've had that. Now I'll be honest, and you guys might not know me, but I'm more of a flesh and blood believer. I'm not really into the paranormal as much, but I am open-minded to that. I've had some crazy things happen just recently. And one of them that David's asking, I had a group with me and we heard some tree knocks. And then a little later, we heard singing, like a humming, but it was a melody and it was right by us. But there was nothing, there was no vegetation. It was in the woods. It was at night. And I heard this humming, and the two people with me heard the humming. And I said, was that your cell phone? They go, no, we don't have our cell phones with us. We left our cell phones in the car. And we all heard this singing literally right by us. I can't explain it. I'm not saying that's Bigfoot, but it did seem paranormal to me to have the singing right near us. So let's see, got some questions here. So Scott's asking more arrowheads, more sightings, more arrowheads. I would say we have lots of arrowheads in Kentucky. Any field you go to, whenever they plow the field, you could find a ton of arrowheads. I know. Oh, where arrowheads are? I don't know if there's a correlation between arrowheads and sightings. I will tell you an interesting story, though, Scott. I've got a fellow researcher. He lives down there in Barron County, Kentucky, and he's got Bigfoots on his property. And he put a pile of corn out. And the next day, the pile of corn was gone, and there was an arrowhead placed right where that pile of corn was. And this guy's legit, honest. He wouldn't make something up like that. And I've had experiences there with, interactions with tree knocks and such, and lots of sightings as well. So that gifting scenario where they take something and they bring something back, it appears the Bigfoot might have left him in an arrowhead. Been to Rock House. Is Rock House in the Red River Gorge?
Is that restaurant? Restaurant?
Rock House. I don't know. Huh. I don't know. I don't know where Rock House is. Close to you. I don't, because I don't know what it is, I've never been there. I can tell you. Yeah, I agree. MD Haunting saying like they know. I totally agree with MD there. He says it's like they know what the arrowheads are, because think about it. Those are priceless. Back to the Shawnee and the Cherokee that we had here in Kentucky, and to make an arrowhead, they want to get those back. If they lose one, it's a bummer. So those arrowheads mean a lot. And if a Bigfoot knows that they have some value to them, I could see the Bigfoot leaving the arrowhead as a gift. So I agree with MD. So let's see, Green River Lake. Green River Lake, yeah, a lot of reports. Green River Lake, that's where the varmint. There's a Bigfoot there nicknamed the Varmint by Green River Lake. And I went there one time to interview a witness at a McDonald's, and a crowd gathered at the McDonald's there, Adair County, and literally dozens of people had sightings there by the Green River Lake. Vocalizations. Kelly's asking the vocalizations I've heard. Whoops. Whistles are common in Kentucky. Whistles with knocks. Combinations of whistles and knocks. Howls, of course, some strange howls that change pitch. And the strange howls were crazy. It's not the alpha coyote in a pack. It's different than the alpha coyote. Clearly different, and I've had them analyzed. But then you hear the coyotes go off. So then I think there's a relationship with the coyotes and the Bigfoot, because later on, the strange vocals are over here, and then the coyotes are over here. So it's almost like the coyotes follow the Bigfoot. Yeah, Trip, he grew up in the gorge. Yeah, we live right here by the gorge. A lot of sightings. My very first Bigfoot report came from the gorge 30 years ago, the very first one I took. And now I live here, and now I've got all these reports locally, not far from me, where I'm documenting more and more reports by the gorge. Yeah, David said he heard walking and breathing, but never saw it. Yeah. Some of this is hard to explain, them being so close to us, but not seeing them. Like they could be paranormal, supernatural. I don't believe that yet. I'm more flesh and blood. And I believe there's things they've used through adaptation with their senses and their hair, and that they could blend in with cryptid colorization very well with their environment. And basically they're the ninjas of the forest. So they have a huge advantage over us in the woods. We walk out there, we don't have a clue. We're looking at the ground so we don't trip. A Bigfoot doesn't do that. They're right at home and they can blend in with their surroundings really well. So I don't have an explanation for the ones that are near you, but you can't see them. It's hard to explain. I'd have to be there myself and experience that. Going in the woods there. Now, one thing I have had happen, I've been in the Fraser land, which is central Kentucky and Anderson County, on an expedition. We heard amazing whoops down in this holler. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to therm it. So I took my thermal out. It was dead. My buddy says my audio's dead. Two people walk up to us. Our audio's dead. Everybody around me, their audio died when we heard the whoops. I can't explain that. We just started the expedition. So it's one of those things, did the Bigfoot take the power from our audio? I don't know. Yeah, trail. Yeah, it's good to stay on a trail. It's easy to get lost. If you go off trail in Kentucky, you could wander on somebody's property, and it could be very dangerous. Thank you. MD loves our videos on our YouTube. Yes, I started those quite a few years ago, interviewing the witnesses, because I wanted people to see their emotion, and they could judge for themselves. Is this person lying? And I'm kind of lucky or fortunate that I get to interview these witnesses and live vicariously through them, because I get to hear their emotions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's so believable. You got to hear this. So when I started putting the witnesses on my YouTube, people really enjoyed that. There's no special music or special intro. I just kind of tell the date, here's the witness, and let you decide. Parents who live in Clay City. Let's see. Green River. Yeah, Green River is a good spot. Keith said, we were talking about Green River's got a lot of Bigfoots around the Green River. I love that area. Kentucky boys asking how much charge parents of Clay City. KY boy, do you mean our motel or going on a Bigfoot hunt? Eight miles below the dam. Keith, what dam are you talking about? 8 miles below the dam. On the Green River? I think there's a dam on the Green River somewhere. Oh, yeah, Avery. I know Avery. Tripp. Avery, he sold his business. He no longer does the kayak trips. He's a great guy. Yeah, it was a bummer he sold it. I guess he got too busy. So I'm looking with the dam. Who asked about the dam? Oh, Keith. You said you were 8 miles below the dam. Oh, it's okay. Oh, KY boy, you said your parents live in Clay City. You mean to go on a Bigfoot hunt or to stay in our motel? Because we have a little motel here in Clay City, the Clay City Inn. Now, one of the first reports I took early on was not only the gorge, I took one on the Green River. It was there in Mammoth Cave by Turnhole Bend. Some guys were fishing the Green River and had a daytime sighting. He had just casted his line, looked at the end of his rod, and on the shore, he saw what he thought was a gorilla standing there. There's some bamboo. We do have bamboo in Kentucky. It's real thin bamboo. And I've got multiple sightings of these things by the bamboo. And this one happened there in the Green River. It looked like a gorilla standing in the bamboo, he said. Okay. I would go on a hunt. If I do a hunt here, I charge $200 for 4 hours in one of my research areas, and you could bring as many people as you want. I took some guys last night on a bachelor party. Actually, the bachelor party was Friday night in Lexington, and then they planned a hunt, and I took 7 guys out last night. They were, of course, drinking beer and hooping and hollering and knocking on every tree they saw, but they had a lot of fun. But what you're paying for is you're paying for my knowledge, and you're paying for places I've documented where there's been sightings and I've had interactions. So you're paying for my, I hate the word to use expertise, but my knowledge. You're paying for my knowledge. Yeah, if you ever want to come down here, you're welcome to stay in our motel or find a cabin, and then I'll be happy to take you squatching in the gorge. Oh yeah, the dam by the Green River, the lake. Oh, Green River Lake. Yeah. I've never been to that dam, but I've had some really good encounters on the Green River. Fact is, we went there one time. We pulled up to where there's a couple Bigfoot sightings late at night. As soon as I opened my car door, some crazy screams. We're like, oh my gosh, did you hear that? And of course, our audio wasn't running, which I know I was a bad boy. You got to have your audio running before you get out of your vehicle and leave it running. We use little digital recorders with omnidirectional mics. So we walk around with our audio, running the entire time, because you never know when you're going to hear that incredible vocal. The hunt thing, no, you can meet me there. KY Boy mentions the hunt. Depends on where we go. I've got a few hot spots. One of them is only 7 minutes from my motel. So last night we met in my parking lot and we drove. I've got other locations that are great, and you could drive there and meet me there if you wanted to go on a hunt. So here's some things as I'm waiting for questions to come in. So I mentioned I've interviewed over 500 witnesses. So here's the deal, and I wish that some of the sightings were more remarkable or more scary, if you will. Every close encounter that I've documented, I'm talking within 20 yards of a witness looking into a Bigfoot's eyes, the Bigfoot does not hurt the witness. Almost every time the Bigfoot walks away, the person usually runs away. But these close encounters, these Bigfoots do not hurt the witness. And I'm glad, I'm glad. That's why I don't want to hurt them. I want to protect them. But, there's a lot of stuff out there of the Bigfoots, killing people or attacking people. And there might be some cases, yeah. They're individuals. They have different temperaments, different personalities. You might get some like that. But from my experience, on a whole, they're just curious and they protect their territory. So they'll push trees, they'll growl, they'll throw rocks. They just want you to leave their territory. They're not trying to hurt you. No, I don't do any kind of pass, KY. So Rick is asking a question. I've seen him. I like that one, Rick. The one in Mississippi of the skunk ape pulling the cypress bark off the tree. I like it. I want to think it's real. There's so many hoaxes out there. You never know. You can never say 100% that video is real. Although the Patterson-Gimlin, I could say 100%. I've seen too much evidence on the Patterson-Gimlin. But like the one in Mississippi, it looks good, but people can hoax stuff too. But I want to believe. It's real. So Keith was saying your buddy heard some rocks thrown, trees screaming. Yeah. Yep. The Green River Lake is a hot lake. Like I said, a lot of reports around. That's a great place to go squatching. The most Bigfoot in one place you've reported, how many together? So Scott, I've got reports of someone seeing a family walking across the field at a distance, like 5 of them walking across the field. And the big one was in the lead. So you had the big one followed by looked like maybe the wife and then the kids, but they're in order of height. And it's funny, when I posted that report, Bobo of all people, he chimed in. He goes, "Hey Charlie, man, I got a report just like that where the Bigfoot was walking first and the little one's behind it. So it makes sense that the big one would be up front." I got a report of, unfortunately, this was on Fort Knox, where they killed, there was 5 Bigfoot, and they killed 4 of them on Fort Knox. So there's a family of them there, of 5. I got a report of 2 of them together down in Barron County, 2 juvies, teenagers walking together. There's a report of a mother watching a young one playing in a creek. Some boy was walking his grandfather's farm in the daytime, walking the creek, got in there and came up to a berm, and he heard splashing, and he looked over the berm, and there's a female Sasquatch standing there with a young juvie playing in the water like a kid, like an adult child playing in the water. And the boy was afraid because he didn't have his phone, he didn't have his gun, and he just kind of hid watching this. And all of a sudden, that adult female looked over, saw him, screamed, threw up its arm. The young one jumped up out of the water and ran into the woods. And the boy turned around and ran out of there. And but that was a case where there's 2, an adult female and a young baby playing in the water. But I do think, someone just asked me the other day, when they become teenagers, I think they move out. They go looking for a mate. They go looking for more territory. So I do think they move out probably faster than what human teenagers move out. Too many human teenagers stay in their parents' basement a lot longer than they should. So let's see. I'm trying to look at some. Yeah, Keith, you're right. You're close, Keith. There's some good action there. Turnhole Bend. A lot of reports around there. Let's see. We're asking about the wild, some of the frontier, some of the pioneers of Kentucky. So in Lauren Coleman's book, Mysterious America, he writes about Barron County, Kentucky, because I actually contacted Lauren because I wanted to know where this was. In the 1700s, some of those early settlers killed a tribe of monkey men. in Kentucky. There's a cave there called Monkey Hollow Cave, and it's in his book, Mysterious America. That happened in Kentucky in Barron County. I don't do any ghost hunts, but I do like ghost hunting. It's a lot of fun. We watch the ghost shows on TV. Although Zach's getting on my nerves. He's so dramatic, you know. But I like the other guys. Looking at some of the reports. Yeah, Carla asked about Daniel Boone killing the Yahoo. There's some great videos online of people talking about Daniel Boone killing this Yahoo and reading from some of the historical literature about Daniel Boone killing this Yahoo. I do think that happened. And I could talk for about a half hour on that. That'd be another show. But I do think the Yahoo and Daniel Boone story was probably legit based on my research. I'm just reading some more here. Let's see. Yeah. Sure. It's easier for me to read the questions if you type them in all caps like Scott did. What about dogmen, and do you believe in dogmen? Yeah, I do believe in dogmen. I've taken legit reports from credible people describing a dogman with a muzzle, pointed ears, the legs bent backwards. These are very credible witnesses in my, from what I believe. So I do think the dogmen are real. I don't know what they are. Now, I do tell you there's some Bigfoot reports I've gotten with a little prognathism, a little bit of that extension. And maybe sometimes people are seeing that, the prognathism, and it's not really a dogman. It's just a Bigfoot with like a monkey chimp-like mouth. MD, what video are you talking about, MD? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the LBL dogman thing, that's creepy down there. Now, there's Bigfoot reports down there, too. On my YouTube channel, there's a good Bigfoot report from LBL I took a couple of years ago. Oh, Daniel Boone, yeah. Have I run into government officials? Park rangers, they usually laugh. I've had law enforcement, pull me over. What are you guys doing? And I'll tell you this: if you ever want to get away from the cops and you're out squatching, if you tell them you're a Bigfoot researcher, they will laugh and let you go immediately. But I will tell you a government story that happened here in Kentucky, an odd one. So there's an area over there by Bullitt County where a sheriff deputy has had sightings, and park rangers have had sightings over there in Bullitt County by Bernheim Forest. So what the story goes, a friend of the sheriff deputy contacted me and said he got a call from Fish and Game. Can you open the gate up on this property that he was overseeing? It was Sunday morning. Can you go out there and unlock the gate for us? He said, oh, yeah, sure. So he went over there to the property, unlocked the gate. As he pulled up, two blacked out SUVs, like the Men in Black, were sitting there. He got up to the Fish and Game, and they had semi-automatic weapons in their hands, which I thought was odd. They told the gentleman he could leave, and they went on the property. Some more to that story. The night before, there's a little dirt road back there. A lady had come home from third shift and was attacked by a large animal in her yard. She was walking up to her trailer. The neighbors came out, EMS came out, and supposedly she was attacked by a large animal. Okay. Next day, Fish and Game come out on the adjacent property, 2 blacked out SUVs. They had semi-automatic weapons. And I said, man, keep me posted on this story. So Monday comes, Tuesday comes, Wednesday comes. The guy goes, oh, law enforcement changed the story. The sheriff deputy I know, he said it was a meth bust. So it went from the lady being attacked by a large animal to now it was a meth bust. Well, why is Fish and Game involved on a meth bust? It didn't add up. And what were the black SUVs? A lot of the story did not add up, but that could have been government, covering something up. So let's see. I'm getting behind in my questions here. I was never run off by officials, so I'm too nice. Let's see. Hellhounds. I don't know what hellhounds are. I know they're large dogs, from hell. I'm not sure. We do have large cats in Kentucky. Large black cats are in Kentucky, and some panthers. Yeah, Big Mo's and Mammoth there. A lot of reports around there, Keith. You're in a good area. Fact is, near Mammoth there is Horse Cave. Tom Powell, well-respected researcher, wrote in his book, The Locals. It's a great book, by the way. Tom Powell wrote in his book about somebody hitting a Bigfoot by Horse Cave, and it was a government cover-up, supposedly. So get the book, The Locals by Tom Powell. Hi, Bruce. So what county has the most sightings? So in Kentucky, the most sightings are in Anderson County. And then there's a lot. There's, let's see, Trimble County. You go down towards the south, it'd be Ohio County. Trying to think of where the other hot counties would be. Barron has a lot. Red River Gorge over by us, Powell County, there's a lot. Carter County, there's a lot of reports over in Carter County. And I do think the Bigfoots stay in the same counties. I got reports over decades of the same physical characteristics, the same behaviors. Like Howdy in Anderson County is the one that he raises his hand, and we nicknamed him Howdy. We've had multiple people see Howdy raise his hand over decades in the same county. Let's see. Hello, Lindsay, Bruce. Let's see. Are you going to Gatlinburg? No, I won't be in Gatlinburg, Scott, this year. It's a great conference, though. It's a fun place to go to, Gatlinburg. A lot of traffic, so be prepared. Get there early.
We got a question from Jim Dodge Federal.
Oh, I must have missed a question. Thank you.
What would you say is your most memorable experience?
Oh, Jim asked my most memorable experience. I've got a lot, to be honest. There's so many that I've come very close and had amazing tree knock interactions. I think that's what gets me. You don't get a return tree knock all the time. It's very rare you get a return tree knock. Clear, okay? Anybody that's been doing this a long time knows that. The times where I do a knock or 3 knocks, 3 means something, I don't know what, or a whoop and a knock together works well. I've done this where I get immediate knock back, and I do it again, another knock back. And when it does it multiple times, and you're in a remote area and you know there's nobody else around, you know your surroundings, those I would say are my most memorable encounters because I think I'm communicating with the Bigfoot. So I got some more. Yeah, Carter County, a lot of reports. Vicky asks, Taylorsville Lakes. But oh yeah, I took one for the BFRO at Taylorsville Lake. And if you go to Taylorsville Lake, go to where the Salt River connects to Taylorsville Lake. A lot of reports around the Salt River in Spencer County. This is what's crazy. Spencer County is right near the border of the Pope Lake monster you heard over towards Louisville. And I think in Spencer County, there's reports of a Bigfoot with mange, where it had hairy legs, no hair on the chest. It ran through a guy's backyard. His security light come on, and he said it had hairy legs but no hair on its chest. I don't think that was a Pope Lake monster. I think it was a Bigfoot. And even the Boy Scouts that camped there, they claim rocks were thrown. We know Bigfoots throw rocks. The Pope Lake monster, I don't know if he throws rocks, but I think the Pope Lake monster is actually more of Bigfoot stories that have been fabricated and embellished over the years. Yeah, the mountain monsters are great guys. They're fun. I met them. Great bunch of guys. Yeah, your first knock was instant. Yeah. If you get a return tree knock immediately, you're hooked. I mean, and I love it when I take somebody out for the first time and they get a return tree knock. I mean, it's almost like me hearing my first tree knock when I see somebody else experience their first tree knock. You get hooked right away. Yeah, Keith, you're asking about the Horse Cave incident. It's in Tom Powell's book, The Locals. It's a great book, by the way, on Bigfoots. I highly recommend that book. Hey, Lou. Look, Lou just joined us. Lindsay.
Oh, hello.
Lindsay said hi, Lou. Yeah, mountain monsters for smock. I tell you, though, it's so addicting to go out in the woods, just to be in nature. Go to areas where there's been a lot of Bigfoot reports. Act normal. Don't bring, you got to bring a gun, I know, for people and for other animals. I would not worry about a Bigfoot, to be honest. But your best chance of having an encounter is going out, acting like a happy-go-lucky hiker or camper. You appear non-threatening, laugh, cook food, play music, and that's going to be your best chance in having an interaction. And then, later in the evening, try multiple knocks. I like wood on wood too, by the way. Some people use these plastic things, and I really think the wood on wood makes the best knockers. It wasn't meant to be funny. You're welcome, KY boy. Have a good night too. So Lou, what are you doing up? Isn't it past your bedtime, Lou? And I will tell you too, when I mentioned doing knocks, I never do one knock, one loud knock. And the reason is I've been out with groups of people or just a few people, squatching on a trail and getting one loud knock, and then it gets quiet. And we leave that trail, and then one loud knock, like the coast is clear. I take that as a warning. We got people present, lay low, because everything gets quiet. So I never do one knock. I do multiple knocks. And there's a lot of recordings of Bigfoots doing multiple knocks. I've experienced it, had great interaction with it. So I do 2-3 knocks at a time, evenly spaced, nice and loud. If you think a Bigfoot's close to you, a couple taps, a whistle. So whenever you're close to a Bigfoot, you think you are, do subtle stuff. Just a subtle whistle, a little tap, a couple taps, and you might get a Bigfoot to react. So Deborah, hey Deborah, the time of year. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't think they hibernate. They're active all year. They got to consume a large amount of calories. I think there's more sightings in the spring and fall because more people get out of the house and go into the woods during those times. So that's why we have more sightings during the spring and fall. But I do believe Bigfoots are active all year and pretty much 24/7. We got sightings at night. We got daytime sightings. I don't know when they sleep, to be honest. Rock House, Morgan County, called Rock House. Several areas in the state, though. I have to go check that out. Rock House. We need to check that out. So there's a lot of reports by Rock House. So Rick is asking the blonde like deer. So Rick, the primary color that I've documented in Kentucky is reddish brown. Now there's ones that are dark brown, almost black. There's some that are white in Kentucky, gray, blonde, deer-like color. There's a couple like that. Fact is, the Yahoo story, the one where Daniel Boone supposedly killed the Yahoo, in that story, they described that Bigfoot as blonde in color. Not big and dark. It was more blonde in color. Randy's asking, is Jay? Oh yeah, Randy. Jay will contact me at least once a month, and he's hearing knocks right outside his house, rocks being thrown up against his house. So yeah, that area that on Jay's property is still active. If anybody wants to know where that's at, that's over there by Menifee County, Wellington, Kentucky. And that's between Cave Run Lake and Red River Gorge. So Red River Gorge has lots of sightings. Cave Run Lake, lots of sightings, and anything in between. I want to go out now. I'm getting pumped up. I want to go out and look. It's too cold. It's never too cold to go squatching. Like Lou said. Lou says you just got to wear the right clothing. Yeah, Randy, we might do another one there. We like to do expeditions in different areas so people can experience, different locations. But I like to pick hot areas. When I pick an area to do an expedition, I like to go where there's been the most sightings to have an encounter. And there's quite a few in Kentucky. I could pick like 5 areas in Kentucky where I know they're at. I got too many reports. Don't wear red. Yeah. Makes sense. Red seems kind of intimidating. Some people say, if you go to the same areas, wear the same color or wear the same clothing, the same ball cap, act the same, so they get used to you coming into their area. So I don't do that. Maybe I should, but I go to so many different areas. I lose track of where I go. I go to so many spots, but yeah, I wear the same clothing. And I've heard people say that they get used to you and they get comfortable with you being around. But don't use flashlights. If you bring a gun, hide it. I know you got to bring a gun for animals and people, but when I go Bigfooting, I never carry a gun. I know that's crazy, but I don't want to be threatening to these creatures. I think they're just curious. They honestly want to be left alone. So I respect them. If they let me know when it's time to go, and I leave. And most people do. And the people that sit there behind their computer screens and say, how come you didn't go towards it? How come you didn't get a better video? You don't go out there. Because when you're out in that situation and there's a Bigfoot there and you think there's a Bigfoot there and you see it or you hear it and it's pushing down trees and it's growling, you leave. You leave. But there's so many skeptics out there or armchair researchers who don't go out in the woods. Oh, why didn't you go towards it? That's easier said than done. So Lindsay, Raymond, my wife asked, she said they would smell. Lindsay is former law enforcement. So she's the gun expert. Forensics expert. People do believe they can smell the gunpowder or they can sense it. Now, there's that belief that Bigfoots can, read your mind and mind speak and stuff. I'm not there. Honestly, I don't really believe all that, but they might have a sixth sense A dog knows your intentions, right? So I think a Bigfoot would know your intentions. And if you carry a gun, maybe that's in the back of your mind. You got that gun. Maybe that Bigfoot could pick up on that too. Bigfoots are a threat to dogs. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of reports I've got some crazy reports of coon dogs, champion coon dogs, running back into their boxes. And the guy sends it back out again. The dog runs back into its box or runs under the truck. And I remember this one report I took. The guy was proud of his champion dog and he wanted to show it to his friend. And every time he would send it out, it would run back into the box. I think the third or fourth time he forced the dog out, he heard it barking. The guys got up there and it's sitting there shaking. And on the horizon, on the field in the moonlight, they saw a large humanoid creature striding across the field in the moonlight, which is probably a Bigfoot. And that's most likely why that dog kept running back into its box. So let's see. Do they live in caves? No, I don't think so, Keith, because, and here's why, it's too risky. We have a lot of people that go into caves, hikers. What do you call that? I know Devin's in here somewhere. Spelunkers. I'm saying it wrong. It's too risky unless there's a back entrance or exit. We could trap them. We'd come up on them too quick. I think they would use a cave in extreme weather. Late at night when there's nobody around, they would take cover. But then they move. Lots of reports of them, people seeing them under down tree fall with leaves on them, laying in uprooted, where the divot where a tree is pushed over, laying in that divot with leaves on them. People seeing them with leaves on them. So they move a lot. And even the structures, the tree structures we find, some could be Bigfoot related and they're marking their territory or what have you. But to me, they're not living in those tree structures. It's too risky. Too many people out there hiking. Too many hunters would walk up on them. So I think they're more nomadic within their territory, and they just keep moving. They might even sleep in a polyphasic sleep cycle, which means every 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours, they might sleep, then they're awake. Then they sleep, then they're awake. Because we got reports of them in the daytime. We got reports of home run knocks in the daytime, maybe like a warning, like a sentry standing guard, and while the other ones sleep. So I think they keep moving and they might sleep wherever they can hide. Yeah, Bobo asked, so they part of it? That could be true. I mean, they could be interdimensional. We don't know, right? We don't know. They could do that. There's a lot of science behind portals. So maybe they know how to use the portals or whatnot. But we don't have all the answers. That's what's intriguing about this. It's such a mystery, isn't it? I mean, are these things just alien related? Are they from another dimension? Is it just a hominid that has not gone extinct? I think it's a hominid. I mean, the last 50,000 years, we've had 8 different hominids on this planet in the last 50,000 years. And we just realized this a couple of years ago. We have Neanderthal DNA in us and Denisovan DNA in us. So we, Homo sapiens, bred with other hominids at some point. So we don't have all the answers. I think Bigfoot's just another hominid that has eluded us, has avoided us. Too smart, too many encounters, but we just haven't gotten that body yet. Wow, that's crazy, Bobo. I'm 100% believer in UFOs and aliens. My wife's not, but I am. I don't know if it's related to Bigfoot, but I will tell you, I do believe in both. I believe in Bigfoot, UFOs, and also ghosts. I believe in all three, but I don't think they're all related. But again, I don't have the answers. I don't know obviously, but They could be. Who knows?
Deborah Hall is asking if you're going to Crypticon.
Oh, Deborah. Sorry, Deborah. I missed your question, Deborah. Yes. Crypticon, for those who don't know, is the largest Bigfoot festival in Kentucky. Not festival, conference, sorry. It's the largest conference in Kentucky. It's in Lexington. It's in November this year. You'd have to Google it. So Google Crypticon Kentucky 2003.
23.
Yeah, 2023. And highly recommend it. They bring in big name speakers, all the ones you know, and a lot of fun activities, a lot of merch. It's a great event. I like to see your pictures, Bobo. I love the UFO stuff. I watch all the UFO stuff on TV. I love that stuff. Okay, I'll check it out. Crypticon is November. Thanks, Jim. I think that's Jim. Thank you, Jim. Get your tickets now, though. The hunt is I think it's sold out. I do a hunt for Crypticon. If there's a ticket for that hunt, buy it because there's only like 20 spots. But you better buy it now. Wow, this has been a great show, guys. It's almost 8 o'clock. This was my first live stream, and I didn't know what to do with my hands, and I didn't know where to look. I hope everything was good with this. I hope you guys had a great time. I don't know if I'm going to do one every week, but maybe every 2 weeks, I might do a live stream and just talk about whatever.
Maybe every 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I'll do a live stream just to educate, maybe to share information. Other people share information. Like I picked up some stuff here in the comments. So in this field, we really need to work together. We need to share information. We need to collaborate. And, maybe we'll find the answer one day.
I would take that last question.
Oh, one last question. Where's that at?
Do you think Bigfoot swims?
Oh, yes, they do swim. I got reports. I got witnesses seeing them swim. So, yeah, I do think they swim. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.